What should you take with you on a long ride? Someone just asked this recently in our Patreon community, and it's also popped up a couple of times in the YouTube comments. So that's what I'm going to tackle today. It's really hard to make a blanket recommendation that's going to work for everybody because every rider is different, every ride is different, and where you live also determines what you should bring. For example, our long ride kit when we lived in more populated Southern California was a lot less than what we bring with us on long rides here in Montana. Climate also plays an important role in what you would bring on a longer ride. So if you live in a sunny Mediterranean climate where, it's usually 60s or 70s and sun, then you don't have to think about extra layers. But if you live in the mountainous west here in the US and weather can change on a dime, it's always good to pack a layer or two. Deciding what to bring is also a bit of a balancing act between being prepared and not taking too much. You definitely don't want to carry a full bike shop's worth of tools and extra parts, but you do want to carry those things that will cover the most common issues you'll face on the road. In our experience, the most common mechanical you should prepare for is something to do with your tire. You get a flat, you tear a gash on the sidewall, so you want all the things to make that necessary repair. So you'll want to bring things like a pump, a tire lever to remove the tire, as well as a patch kit. And no, don't just trust that old crusty patch kit you bought years ago. You want to make sure you've got a fresh one, in particular making sure that the cement is still good and that you also have a piece of sandpaper to abrade the tube so that your patch adheres well. My favorite patch kit is the Rima Tip Top patches. I love the scalloped edges. When you push down on those edges on a tube with a tire lever, it really beds into the tube. I know that there are glueless patches. I don't think they work as well as the classic tried and true Rima Tip Top. If you're running tubeless, repairing a flat on a tubeless tire is a little bit different than with a tube tire. You will need these things called tire plugs, AKA bacon strips. They come in different forms. We've been carrying around these things called Dynaplugs, which we've actually not had to use yet, knock on wood, but have them just in case. In addition to just plugging up a hole that will cause a flat, if you're riding in really rugged terrain, it's a good idea to carry something that will help you repair any gash in the tire sidewall. That's another common and potentially ride-ending failure. On really remote rides, it's also a good idea to carry one of those small ounce bottles of sealant. I think that covers it for tire repairs. Another kind of bonus thing that you could carry is a Schrader to Presta valve adapter. So if you go to a gas station and need to reseat a tire or quickly put air in there and you've got a Presta valve, you can just put this on and work with the tire station pump. Another thing to bring, which probably should go without saying, is some sort of multi-tool. And you want to make sure the multi-tool covers all the bolts on that particular bike that you're riding at that moment. We have a lot of different bikes and they use many different types of bolts. Some use the star-shaped Torx bolts. Others use the more common hex bolts. So whatever your bike has on that long ride, make sure you've got a multi-tool that will work on all those fasteners. Another common mechanical problem that we've run into, not as frequent as a tire repair, is chain repair. I've broken a couple chains on various rides and it could have been a ride-ending failure, but thankfully I carry some chain tools with me. What I'd recommend is some basic chain breaker tool. I like this one by Park. This will let you remove a bad link, and I usually like to reattach the chain using quick links instead of trying to squeeze a pin back in there, because that's always a pain in the butt when you're tired and you're under duress. So I bring some quick links, and I also like to carry the Wolf Tooth pack pliers. Not only are they great for undoing the quick links, but you can also use them to seat a quick link. So between those chain tools, it should have you covered. In terms of other repairs, I have occasionally lost a bolt that was securing a rack. So not necessary, but you could carry an extra bolt or two, or just harvest them from another part of your bike. I also like to have a handful of small zip ties as well as some Gorilla Tape. I've used that in a pinch to secure a rack that lost a bolt. So be like MacGyver and bring some tape with you. So next are a couple things that we carry here in Montana just because it is so remote and you have to be really self-sufficient. And the first one is a water filter. I really like these lightweight, squeezy water bottle flask water filters. Really easy to carry and easy to fish out water from a stream or a water source and squeeze that water into your mouth or refill a water bottle. And because it's Montana and weather can change on a dime, we also carry emergency Mylar blanket. We've not had to use them, but they seem like good insurance just in case you get caught on a mountain pass and have to pull over and try to stay warm. We also like to carry a small first aid kit. We don't plan to do any surgeries out in the woods, but always a good idea to have some Neosporin, some Band-Aids, and a tweezer. If we're going on a really long ride and are relying on electronic devices for navigation, it's always a good idea to carry a small battery bank so you can charge up your GPS, your light, or your phone. Like I mentioned earlier, if you live in the Mountain West, a few layers will not hurt. So usually have some kind of buff. It just adds that extra warmth, as well as some kind of wind shell like the Patagonia Houdini jacket. Last but not least, always carry a spare 20 with you. You never know when you'll need some emergency cash to buy snacks or pay for a ride so you can limp back into town. So that's what we carry. What did I miss? What do you guys carry? Is there something that you like to bring on really long rides that we didn't mention? Leave your answers in the comments below. Would love to hear what you guys pack with you. And just a quick note, we are so close to 100K. We've got a special surprise when we finally get there. Hopefully it will arrive in a couple of weeks once we're in the new space. So if you like this video, you know what to do. And as always, keep the supple side down.